Hey everyone, it's Rory or Toctopus, and I just wanted to make this quick video today to go through some of the highlights for me from the GOG Summer Sale, which is currently ongoing and will be going until June 28th. If you've never used GOG before, it's an online storefront for PC games, probably similar to some other online storefronts you've used before, but in particular, GOG sells DRM free games. I don't really have time to go into what DRM free means and all of its consequences, but suffice to say, you can play these games with offline installers instead of a launcher. If you so choose, you can also use, they have a launcher, GOG Galaxy, if you'd prefer to use that. So let's get right into it. The first game on the list I wanted to highlight was Dishonored. This is my favorite gaming franchise of all time. It's a phenomenal stealth game. It's a phenomenal immersive sim. If you've never played an immersive sim, expect a wide variety of mechanics to play with to accomplish your objective in unique and interesting ways. You can combine mechanics and do all sorts of things. There's a lot of different play styles you can manage, a lot of really cool emergent gameplay. The game has phenomenal art, the setting is terrific, and mechanically it's, at the top of the food chain. There's Dishonored, there's Dishonored 2, and there's Dishonored Death of the Outsider. I think they're all brilliant. I'd recommend this at full price, but I definitely recommend it at this 50% off price. All of these prices, by the way, are going to be in Canadian Maple Bucks, and if you use some other sort of thing like Freedom Dollars or whatever other currency, you're going to have to do the conversion, but I definitely recommend it at the price. A lot of people say that Dishonored is like a spiritual successor to Thief. Of course, Thief is also going to make the list. Also a terrific stealth game, also a terrific immersive sim. Thief is a bit dated for some people, maybe a little too dated for some. But if you're playing PC games at the time and you like that old style graphics and you missed Thief for whatever reason at the time, it's a definite recommend. It still holds up in a lot of ways. I think some of the levels have really cool designs. I think that the game definitely holds up from a mechanics perspective. And I think the game definitely holds up from a sound design perspective. Phenomenal sound design, and it's a Canadian dollar, Definitely a great price. Metal Gear Solid, if you're a PC gamer, you might have missed Metal Gear Solid. Of course, there was a PC port back in the day, but that I think a lot of people missed that, and I think they've been known as PlayStation games for like quite some time. But you may have heard Dishonored is very cinematic. You may have heard Metal Gear Solid, excuse me. You may have heard Metal Gear Solid is very cinematic. You may have heard that Metal Gear Solid is very over the top. All of that is true, but I definitely recommend this game as a stealth game, and I always recommend people start with the first one when it comes to this series. So that's a definite recommend from me. Aragami, another stealth game. This is kind of convenient because not only is it on sale for a very reasonable price, but Aragami 2 is coming out in September. I think it's September 17th because I think Deathloop is on the 24th. And I think I remember saying to myself that I have a week to play Aragami 2 before playing Deathloop, both of which are games I'm very excited for. The game really has terrific art direction, and the setting is super cool, and it really lets you see the setting too. It's very good at showing you key HUD details outside of a traditional HUD, and so you can really, take in the environment. A definite recommend for me. And if you end up playing it and liking it, there's already gameplay for the second one that you can go and watch. So definitely great at that price. Journey to the Savage Planet is one of my recent gaming surprises. I wasn't sure what to expect, and I was blown away and impressed by it. Truthfully, one of the only things I had heard about this game for a while was about a tweet that someone involved in it had made about streamers that did not go over very well, I guess, on Twitter for a lot of people. But don't let that detract from what may be one of your new gaming surprises as well. This game has phenomenal art. You basically put on this unfamiliar planet, and it has a really cool crafting, exploration, resource gathering kind of loop where you gather resources to craft things to explore. So you want to explore the planet. So you explore for a little while, and then realize, well, your exploration is limited by some means. There's some area you can't traverse to for whatever reason. So you have to gather resources to craft things that allow you to traverse that area, so you can explore more, so you can craft more to explore more, and that's the loop of the game. It's really good. It's not tremendously long, but at 20 Canadian dollars, I think it's a good game. I think there's DLC. I think I saw in the GOG store there's DLC, but I've not played the DLC. But I enjoyed my time with Journey to the Savage Planet. It has to be said. Jedi and Hate 2 is, when I was a kid, I thought this game was the coolest, and I still think this game is the coolest. Now, this whole arc of Star Wars was really cool, but I know this is like a tired old thing. It's kind of a meme to say, like what they say about the Arkham games, right? They make you feel like Batman, right? It's been said so many times that it's like a joke. I can't think of any other way to say this other than it makes you feel like a Jedi. It really does. And the level design is really cool, it's especially interesting level design for the genre, I think. Again, it's a bit dated, but I think it's really cool still. The Outer Worlds. This is a really interesting game. I haven't quite finished it, full disclosure. I really like the art. I really like the dialogue. So, well, I haven't. Maybe something happens at the end that changes my mind, but I really like what I've played of it so far. I've played a good bit of it so far. I want to be clear on something. You may have heard that this is Fallout in space. I don't object to that description. It's a fine description. This game has a lot of Fallout DNA. Don't expect literally Fallout in space. What I mean by that is don't expect the same scale and scope of Fallout. This is a different thing. Much like Aragami, there's a second one of this coming out. It was announced, I think, at the Bethesda Microsoft E3 show, but we didn't see any gameplay, at least not at that presentation. I don't know if there was gameplay seen otherwise, but there is a second one coming out, and there is DLC for this. I'll let you decide if $40 you think is a fair price. But I enjoyed my time with this so far. Hotline Miami, one of my biggest gaming surprises of all time, because I thought it was a racing game based on the title. Another streamer recommended it to me, said he thought I'd really like it, and gifted it to me, actually. And I really, really do like it. It's a lot of fun. That's the main thing I have to say about Hotline Miami. It's got terrific art and terrific soundtrack. Terrific just sound design generally, I think. And it's really hard. There's no doubt about that. You die quickly, but so do your opponents. And you're going to be redoing the rooms a lot. The levels in this, you enter a room and there's all these enemies, spread about the room. Some of them walking, some of them stationary. And you have to figure out what the best way is through. And the best way may be influenced by your playstyle. Maybe you're melee only. So maybe the path a melee only player takes is different from a path a player who is more comfortable using guns might take. But definitely a terrific game. It definitely has huge vibes of this next game. They're very similar sorts of games. This is God's Trigger. It's another top-down game, sort of like room-by-room style, like Hotline Miami is, and you die a lot because you die quickly, and so do your opponents. And you will be repeating the levels a lot, but it's really, really good. I enjoyed it so much. I ended up going through it and getting S rank on all the levels. So I had a good time. I kept wanting to go back and challenge myself to do better. This was a surprise for me because of the circumstances. I think I was on the phone with my girlfriend and I said, I want to stream, but I don't know what to stream. And she said, well, you have so many GOG games. Why don't you pick a random game from your GOG library and stream that? And I did that, I think, for a couple days, and I wasn't sure which. I'm not sure if this was the first one that came about through that, but it was one of the ones that came about through that and ended up being a slam dunk, at least for me. So I definitely recommend God's Trigger. God's Trigger was made by One More Level, who also did Ghost Runner. Ghost Runner is, it has those, I guess, parkour elements, wall running and jumping and such sort of things. So if you play Mirror's Edge, maybe this is not entirely unfamiliar to you, but it is very action-y, very combat-like. It is very hard. It is one of those games, again, where your enemies die quickly, but so do you. So you will be repeating the levels a lot. And there are some sort of puzzle-y segments as well that are a little different. I don't know how well those went over with various people. Maybe you'll love those elements, maybe you won't. But it is a really terrific game. Another game with great art and a great soundtrack. All three of these games have great art and a great soundtrack. So huge credit to the people at One More Level here for who are responsible for God's Trigger and Ghost Runner, and huge credit to Denaton Games. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I know it was published by Devolver, but I'm not sure if I'm saying the developer's name correctly. But Both those studios have done a phenomenal job. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, this is a terrific game. I'm a huge Elder Scrolls fan, so of course I think it's terrific. A lot of people played Skyrim, of course. We've streamed over 100 hours of Skyrim on the Twitch channel. I really like this game. Modding it is maybe a little more counterintuitive than modding Skyrim. Maybe a little bit. Depends on what you use, I guess. I use Rybash, and I don't find it tremendously cumbersome or anything. Yes, there is not as many mods for it as there are for Skyrim, which, of course, you could say that about many games. You could still play it vanilla, honestly. I think it looks fine vanilla. Yeah, it's a bit dated. Yes, the characters look like potatoes, but I think it's a terrific game, and I think even though it's, of course, a very well-known game, I do think a lot of people, have passed by it. So you may want to give it a go. Of course, there's also other Elder Scrolls games. You probably heard about Morrowind and how great that is. It's also terrific, but I really like Oblivion as well, and you may find that you really enjoy it too. Dusk, I haven't played much of this, and I feel bad about that. And it's no fault of the games that I haven't played much of it. It's published by New Blood Interactive. It's really good, really made with a lot of love for old school shooters. So if that's your thing, definitely get it. I find the New Blood games, they're very good at not just being inspired by old school shooters, but also carving their own identity. And I think that's really important, right? When a game is really inspired by old games, that's terrific. I love that DNA, but it's nice to see what new the game wants to do and how it carves its own identity. And while like I say, I haven't played much of Dusk, I've heard nothing but the best of things, so I've no doubt that it has its own feel. The community seems to really love it. I need to play more of it. They also have a medieval. I think that's on GOG as well, and that's a medieval, not a medieval. Just to be clear, I actually have a medieval desk mat, which I really, really enjoy. Like it's awesome. Bioshock. Bioshock's awesome. Atmosphere, great. Setting, great. Well paced. This game's cool. Yes, this is Bioshock Remastered. Maybe you've heard some things about the remaster, but you also get Classic. So if you don't want to play the remaster, you can also play Classic if you're so inclined. A lot of different people really like Bioshock. I'm not sure what criteria to recommend or not recommend Bioshock on. So I guess I'll just recommend Bioshock to you, especially for this price. There's other Bioshock games too, of course. They do come in a franchise. So those are my highlights. Those are the things I really wanted to talk about. If I missed anything that you think I'd really like, especially if it's something you think I'd really like to play on stream, let me know, please, in the comments. If you buy any of these and like them or hate them or whatever, let me know in the comments. Let me know whatever the consequences of this video are. This is my first YouTube video on this channel. I have been meaning to make YouTube content for quite some time, but I haven't gotten around to it. I thought this would be a great time because usually when there's a sale, whether it's GOG or Steam or something else, I do like a text document or something and toss it in my Discord, and that's fine, but it'd be nice to, just talk about the games a little bit, and maybe, someone outside the community will see the video and it will help them. One of the things as a content creator, I feel in this gaming sphere that you hope for is you hope to show people, to give attention to games that otherwise some people might have missed, and you hope to introduce those people to one of their new favorite games. So if you really, like I say, if you play one of these games and you end up really loving it, I would love for you to leave a comment about that, because that would be like I say, when that happens, when you show someone a game that they really like, or someone from my stream buys a game or something that I've been streaming, that's a real honor as a streamer. The stream, if you want to catch the stream, there'll be a link to it down below. It's twitch.tv/Talktobus, except the Talktobus has a 0 in it. Long story. You can catch the stream. I try to stream every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I don't always make that goal, admittedly, but I'm around, and you can catch the stream for sure. And there's VODs and stuff like that. Thank you, everyone, for joining me, and I'll try to make maybe some more YouTube videos in the future. And until next time, take it easy.